Well, it's been exactly 2 weeks since Hurricane Matthew came around. I'm in Goldsboro right now, checking out some spots that may have some stuff. They used to have a house here from 1917 the last time I came through town. It's gone now. And I'm starting to see a lot of glass. It looks like some kind of a late teen soda. And then we got one sticking right out of the ground. Too bad it had to be one of these. These are super common. Why couldn't it be an Amber Coke or Pepsi? I'll be lucky to get $3 for this one. Well, at least I'm finding some marbles too. There's a nice looking one. Well, I just poked out a privy in Pink Hill. And there's a lot of bottles in it. Well, it looks about 1937 to me. Then we have a White House coming out. It's about 1937 also. Another White House jar. And a worthless med. Then I found what looks to be a coffin flask. And then it's getting way older all of a sudden. Blown in the mold flask. Well, that had 55 bottles in it. Not very valuable ones, but I did find 21 of these White House jars. 8 of them right there. And I found this common patent medicine. Bunch of junky household stuff. Not one soda or milk bottle, not even a piece of one. So most of these will go right back in here. This was the only blown in the mold bottle, and why it was in there I don't know. Then I found some of these Davis vegetable compounds. Screw top. I've never actually found a screw top one before. There's a large size of the same bottle. And there's a machine-made corker. Well, technically I found $100 worth of bottles in here. $4 a piece times 20 is $80, and then there's at least $20 worth of miscellaneous other things. Well, I found another one right beside it. This one feels very sparse, so it's probably even older. But then I found another one over here. Pretty obvious sinkhole there. That one feels like it's going to be from 1940 to 1955. Here I am back in Kinston. Got a hole poked out right there. Well, it's pretty deep already, and I've only found one bottle so far. About a 1926 bottle, I'd say, with no embossing. But I do have a bottle that I just exposed, and I haven't looked at it yet. I think it's a soda. I'm hoping it's a soda. Oh darn it, it's just a ketchup. It's embossed, but just barely. Maybe a $2.50 bottle if I'm lucky. Alright, I think I got a milk bottle exposed right here. Alright, there it is, a slug plate with embossing. That's one I haven't ever found before. Maybe the ACL variation of it. So that made all this hard work worthwhile. And of course it had to be full of water. Well, I was hoping to find a few more, but that's it. And of course it's slick with the top broken off. Alright, found another one. About 15 feet over there. Well, it looks like a trash pit, and it's mostly 40s kind of stuff. Not one whole bottle in it. I think I'm gonna fill it back in. Well, I found this, but it's only halfway there. Alright, found a third one. Hopefully it'll be better than the last two. Well, that turned out to be a waste of time. Just a bunch of metal and one broken bottle. Well, here's the fourth one. I feel a bottle. Something tells me this is a really late haul. I've got something showing. It's probably a soda bottle. Oh my god. 1960s privy. I see an ACL showing right there. There's another one. Early 60s again. Ten, 2, and 4 Dr. Pepper. I'm not even going to take the mud off of it because that'll just make the paint dry out and blow away. At least it's the earlier variation from 1959. Well, finally I found a 1950s Pepsi. And then up in the wall, knee high. Oh, of course it's broken. Alright, there's a painted label with a picture on it. It's a local bottle, so at least there's not 100 million of these around. Alright, found another Roberson's. And a 10-ounce 50s style Pepsi. And an early painted label Coca-Cola with the Coca-Cola on both sides. From 1961. Well, at least it had a lot of sodas. It's just about 50 years too new. I went 1909, not 1959. Well, that's filled in. I just found another one about 1.5 feet away. Right between these two things. That's pretty modern looking. And that is definitely from the late 60s. So I guess that's a no then. Here I am in Grifton. I guess this would be the 1950s landfill. There's a lot of bottles on top of the ground, but I have never found anything worth picking up. But since Hurricane Matthew came through, I thought maybe I'd check it again. All of this got underwater for a while. Well, almost. So some of this stuff must have washed around and brought something out. Well, it's intact, but so what? Nobody wants these. That looks like a good creek. I'm going to do a little bit of creek walking after the hurricane and see if I can find any straight-sided Pepsis from Greenville. Well, I walked about 1/2 mile. No Pepsis. Just these ugly-looking Chiro Colas. At least it's from Greenville. Although these are very common from this town. This one doesn't have a town name, but it's probably actually more valuable. Why? Just because of the initials on the bottom. Lynchburg Glassworks. A mint one of these would sell for about $40. This one's got a bruise out of it, a few flea bites, and a lip chip. So maybe it's only worth $5 now. Got an extremely loaded privy here. So many bottles were thrown in that almost everything smashed each other. There's like 100 broken medicines from the 1890s right here. And I got these intact ones, but none of them are really anything special. And the hole is only that big. This one even has a poison bottle label. Barely read it. Before you experienced privy diggers, have you ever probed a hole that felt like it was probably a pile of gravel buried there? It's so crunchy you almost thought that's not glass, it's just gravel. That's what this one felt like. So many bottles piled on top of each other, you couldn't tell the difference until you started digging. Just pure glass in here. It's a shame that there's this many because they smashed each other. A lot of that kind of stuff in here. It's very old but very worthless. Might be 1880s or 90s, but so what? If it's all blank, it's only worth $1 or $2. Just look at all that glass. It's crazy. It's too old. I want to get some 1905 to 1920 stuff. I'm a soda bottle collector. One of the glassiest holes I've ever dug. It looks like somebody buried a piece of cement down here. That obviously smashed about half the bottles in the hole. It's really difficult to get it out. Does that say what I think it says? People are always asking for laudanum bottles. I've never seen an embossed one before, but there is a paper labeled one. But it's broken, and the label probably wouldn't last anyway. Alright, things are starting to get more interesting. I just pulled out this nice green one. And I found a strap-sided half-pint flask. Of course, it's broken. Finally got that giant 90-pound rock out of the hole. Well, this one's a nice round bottle of some sort. Now I've got something. Station. What's Staten and something or other at the Tarboro and Boss drugstore. Strictly pure laudanum. Interesting how this paper survived for 120 years underground. It's too bad it's broken. Getting close to the finish. The hole's only 2.5 feet deep. It's pretty wide though. And we got another embossed bottle here. For the teeth and breath. Of course, it had to have the corner chipped out of it. Just a lot of patent medicines with paper labels on them. Well, got a couple of different things now. Just a blank chemical type. And then a square one. Well, the shade line has gone away. Now I'm in the hot sun, getting all sweaty. in the same area. There's thousands of pieces of broken glass all over the ground. Some of which are definitely 1890s. And then another thing of interest. A slab of cement with a blown in a mold soda bottle embedded into it. I just want to smash this piece of cement and get that bottle out. Okay, we got one of these in the smaller size. That's better than the big ones. And about the 30th one of those. We got that one. Not too bad. And another one of those. Then finally, an embossed beer in the blob top. It's only from Baltimore though. Then we get that. Looks very old. 1870s. Then we have what would have been a nice one. Then we've got some emulsion showing right there. Something else right there. Something else right there. The bottom of another medicine. And I cut myself. It's a pretty good one. It's actually cobalt blue. It's got a small lip chip on it though. 18 days after the hurricane, I went to Tarboro. Saw this sticking out of the mud. It's a beautiful bottle, but unfortunately the bottom is gone. Then I saw this sticking out of the mud. Yanked it out. And then I saw that. That's a beautiful screw top cobalt bottle right there. I've never seen one of these. Then I saw just this part sticking out of the mud. Could see the embossing. And I dug it on out. And it was a perfect one. It's pretty common dairy, but at least I can get $25 for it. And now the best ones cleaned up. I don't find very many embossed drugstores in North Carolina. They usually only sell for $10 or $12, but I'm not sure why that is. In New Mexico and Arizona they sell for a lot. Yeah, I actually find less of them over here than I did over there. And this nice pint milk bottle. Nothing really wrong with this one. Or that pharmacy for that matter. Just needs a little bit of tumbling. Well, at least these came out really clean. Got about 20 of them to try and sell. Then I got this one. I believe it's the same kind of a jar, except it's just a different style. Same product, that is. I think it's got to be a White House apple butter. There's a nice little medicine, holds about an ounce. It's a pretty neat bottle. Sure, it's not worth more than $5 though. It's from Baltimore. I don't think I have one in my collection of patent medicines though, so at least I'll have something to keep. And then this beautiful dark green chemical or medicine. Don't see much green in those days. And then a Van Buskirk's, what I would call a toothpaste or tooth powder bottle. It's got an interesting shape. Not exactly rare, but I haven't found that many of them. Maybe 15 of them in all my 27 years of digging. And this cobalt. It's kind of an odd shade of cobalt actually. Does have a chip out of it, but still displays pretty nicely. And then we got this beer that's different than all the others I've found. It's got a lot of patina on it. And of course it has a lip chip on it as well. But I guess I'll put it on the shelf with the rest of my beers. And then one of the earliest McCormick bottles from about 1895. And another one with patina or opalization. I actually have the stopper for this that's in my bucket of acid right now getting cleaned. And it has embossing on the bottom of it. And then I got this tiny little extract type bottle. Gilman Brothers of Boston. Those painted label sodas I dug up are not having much luck holding their paint. And then the large size Scott's emulsions. Got two of them, but both of them are a little bit damaged. I only got one flask out of that early haul. There was another one of these that was broken up. This one's pretty much cracked up as well, but still intact. Did find another one of these in a smaller size. It's got some lip chips on the back side of it though. But still, it's got to be worth at least $10. And then the quart milk bottle from Tar Barrel. One of the most common milks from eastern North Carolina. It's a good looking bottle though. And what led up to digging that good privy with those 1800s bottles was this guy came up to me and said he had some bottles because I have advertisement on the side of my van. He only had 5 bottles. One was worthless, but there was 3 really nice ones. Here is a 1915 that's really crude and sparkling mint with no trace of wear whatsoever. Kind of an odd variation too, but unfortunately there is no city listing on it. But still, a 1915 in that kind of condition has got to be worth at least $20. And then he had this one. This is my favorite bottle from the whole trip. I think I've only ever seen one of these. Greenville has a lot of bottles, but it's a really tough city to dig in. It's in mint condition. And then he had one of these. It's a pretty bottle, but I'm more into local stuff. But I think I could get at least $20 for that. It's such a nice example. The guy said his cat knocked over about 10 of them over the years and broke them. So that was pretty disappointing because I was in an area where the most valuable Pepsi bottle in the world comes from. If he had one of those and it got broken, that would be one of the worst tragedies in bottle collecting history. Yep, that's right, I'm talking about the Williamston 10-pin Pepsi.